in Australia by 2030 will be living in a strata environment. That seems like a heck of a lot. And I'm wondering, how was that calculated?
Yeah, it's a really interesting stat, that one. So we get this data coming out of the last 2021 census, so the ABS data. Now, what it tells us is that across Australia right now, there's 30% of people that are living in residential strata apartments across Australia. And that's
30 right now?
Yeah, 30 right now. So that's villas, townhouses and apartments. Now, I drilled down on the data a little bit more. And again, this is a little bit New South Wales centric. However, over the next 2 decades, the New South Wales population is going to grow by about 2.5 million people. And these are estimates that are put out by the ABS. What's really interesting is that for the Sydney metro area, 80% of those 2.4 million people are going to be living in strata. So if you think about the Sydney metro area, if you think about the Sydney basin, we're bounded by national parks to the north and the south, mountains to the west, and an ocean to the east. So the only way for Sydney to grow is up. So that's where we get those stats from. So sometime within the next 2 decades or so, probably early 2030s, we'll be hitting that 50% mark. And it's very similar for the regional areas as well. So down in the Wollongong and Illawarra area, 60% growth down there is going to be in strata, and up around the Hunter and Maitland, it's going to be about 50%. So, yes.
So that's... I guess I know that you don't have carriage in Queensland, but you know, for those of us who go on holidays there, that southeast corner, they do have more land. You're 100% right about Sydney. The geographic boundaries that confine Sydney, you can't change that. In that southeast corner of Queensland, gee whiz, I don't know how they can pack any more people in, Steve. Yeah,
well, it's actually really interesting. So all of the migration data, so there's a lot of people from Victoria and New South Wales moving up into Queensland.
Correct.
And quite interesting for the Queensland listeners, there were changes to the Queensland strata laws this week. So they've introduced terminations of strata schemes, which is something we did back in New South Wales in 2015. So these are for your older strata apartments that might be coming to the end of their economic life. Owners can now decide to terminate their property with a special resolution or a 75% majority. Yep. So, and generally what they do there is they'll get together with a collective sale and sell it off to a developer.
So what, you look at those figures, what does that mean then for say, your association and strata managers and even building managers? There's going to be a huge demand for them down the track, isn't there? So is this an area for employment, something that we should consider, that this could be a career path?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, our national president, Chris Duggan, and there you go, Chris, I'll give you a shout out.
Hey, Chris.
He calls us the sleeping giant of the property sector. So we are absolutely in desperate need for skilled professionals to come across into the strata sector, in both building management and strata management. And we really consider it's got a lot of benefits to it. The first one is we consider it a future-proof industry.
Yep.
So it's one of those ones that's always going to be around, we're always going to be here. But more importantly, it's also recession-proof. So we've gone through a number of economic privations in the last couple of decades, particularly GFC, COVID, that sort of thing. And we simply go from strength to strength. So we're not put up by the privations of a sales market or things like that.
That's just a small sample of some of the calls that we've taken over this summer on the 2 Murrays on 2GB. Hope you found it informative, and please don't hesitate to reach out.